Network. High-definition digital radio broadcasting from the city to the world. www.cityworldradio.com.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time once again for the Johnny Mandolin Show, broadcasting live on City World Radio Network. I have a wonderful guest on tonight, one of my favorite guests to come on. She'll be here, and that's Michela Musolino, marvelous entertainer, singer, dancer, and a great person. So stand by, because on the Johnny Mandolin Show, we only have great things. Thanks for listening, and here we come on the Johnny Mandolin Show, City World Radio Network. Hey, that's our theme song, Anello's Blues. This is Johnny Mandolin, and we are broadcasting live on City World Radio Network, simulcast on Italian American Radio. Having a great time here on our radio station. We love it so much. I want to give a quick shout out to all our listeners, our friends in California and in Chicago, Louisiana, Las Vegas, Rome, Moscow. Thank you for listening to our good California listener, Phil Gonzalez, who loves to tune in and listen in. It's a lot of fun. Hey, to the mic, I want to bring a woman of great talent, both in music and dance and culture, in particular, of course, the Italian culture, Miss Michela Musolino. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's always great to be here, Johnny.
So glad you're back.
It's a lot of fun. So.
That's great. You have been a busy girl. I mean,
yes,
you've
sir.
been between performing, recording. Fill us in.
Well, let's see. Right now, what we're going to be talking about mostly tonight is a brand new CD that's coming out, and it's with my group Rosa Tatuata, and I'm very proud of this work. These are some really wonderful musicians that I'm working with, and the way that this group actually started was a couple of years ago. I had gotten contacted by a gentleman by the name of Doug Hughes, who is a director on Broadway. He actually won the Tony for the play Doubt.
Oh, my gosh.
And he was directing a staged reading for the acting company for their annual gala with Patti LuPone and Bobby Cannavale. And it was a staged reading of The Rose Tattoo by Tennessee Williams. And he said, you know, when Tennessee Williams wrote this play, he actually wrote parts in this for folk musician, a Sicilian folk musician.
Wow.
And there are passages in the play where it actually is written there. It says, and now the folk musician sings a song, and now the folk musician plays the guitar. So he said, would you sing for us? I said, of course. And I asked him, do you think I could bring a guitarist with me? He said, sure. So I brought my friend Phil Pasentino, who is as crazy about this music as I am. And from that night, we started this. We were inspired by the Rose Tattoo. So we started the group Rosa Tatuata, the Rose Tattoo.
I think that's great. What a nice intro to a new career or new genre of music that obviously not new, but new to many listeners.
Well, yeah, because we primarily make the music. We play traditional folk music from Sicily and southern Italy. So one of the reasons why we chose that name is that the actual story is about this collision of cultures, this collision of this southern Italian culture with American culture. So we're all Americans, but we all have our roots in the boot, and we thought this is the perfect description of who we are. Our worlds collide. So let's show it in the music.
Oh, I think that's great, and a true testament, because we're all the Italian Americans I know are proud Americans.
Yes, sir.
Very proud Americans,
That's
and
true.
Never forgot their roots, or
Exactly.
shouldn't.
Right.
So that's really super, and you blend it together in music.
Yes.
That's great. So tell me about the new CD. Where'd you record it? And
Well, you know what? We recorded it in this wonderful place on an island in Philadelphia, or right outside of Philadelphia. It's a secret island. And the producer is a wonderful woman by the name of Rena Sinekin. It's her studio. And Rena was actually a very accomplished musician of her own. She was a singer, had a couple records out. That's when people used to make records. And she eventually got into the technical and business end of the music. And she worked very close with Ahmet Erdogan.
Oh, wow.
For many years, and she produced a lot of. She produced, I believe, things for Gladys Knight and the Pips, and she produced all kinds of great albums.
Ahmet Erdogan, for those who don't know, started Atlantic Records.
That's right. She worked there for him.
Wow.
And so she was kind of our guardian angel on this. We recorded in her studio, and she guided us. And we have this amazing producer that worked with her as well, and he's our technical engineer. His name is Fo Notes, and Fo is, we call him the man with the golden eardrum, because he just hears things in the music, and he has this this capability of creating sounds and taking what we've made and just putting it in the best light possible. He's truly an artist. He's as much an artist as any musician is behind the microphone. While he's sitting at that control board, he's crazy creative.
I've produced many albums in my time, and I've always said that it's a real team effort.
Oh yeah,
you have the musicians and they're bringing the talent, but there's a lot of talent behind the board too.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
That's great. What are you going to call the new album?
It's actually called Rosa Tatuata Sotto le Stelle, Under the Stars. Under the Stars. That comes from a lot of things. Once a year we do this concert out in a secret location in northern New Jersey. It's my backyard. And we do this concert under the stars. And a lot of our shows are outside in the summertime. And we actually all met under the stars. We all met at these jam sessions outside. And it's interesting because the songs we put together reflect life as it was lived many years ago, when most of what we did was outside. So you see that theme. That's the what they call the filo conduttore, or the nastro rosso, the red ribbon that connects everything.
Sure.
In this album.
Sounds like it was a scritto nelle stelle.
Yeah, and we didn't, right? Exactly.
Written in the stars.
Exactly, right? That's what that's the word for desire, right? It's written in the stars.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Well, Michela has done many concerts, many recordings. What was your biggest challenge on this? I mean, was it easy like all the other ones, or was it hard like all the other ones?
No, not at all. Because biggest challenge on this was something, and we talked about this last time I was here, that usually I record live. We go into the studio and we're very well rehearsed, and we record the drum and the sing at the same time. And I was always taught that that's the best way for this kind of music. Well, Rena had different ideas. Rena she comes to this because she is a singer first and foremost. And she said, no, she goes, we want to capture your voice. And she said, what we're going to do is we're going to set down all the music tracks, and then you're going to come in and you're going to sing on top. You're going to overdub the voice. And I was really scared of that, especially because there's like one song we did, and you'll hear it towards the end. It's a little bit more free. It's one of our newer songs, one of the oldest songs traditionally, but one of the newest songs for our group. And we don't have counts worked out yet, because when we do it in concert, it's very free. It's whatever, and the guys take a lot of cues for me, so I had to remember where I put my cues in this, and that was a challenge for me to be able to sing over drumming that I've already done, because it's very organic for me, and I'm so used to the drum guiding me when I sing that it was very different. So I don't know how it's going to sound yet on the finished product. We'll see, and I'll compare it to the other recordings and see. And it's like I said, I was convinced before I went to the studio that no, the best way to do this is live, and you have to be open to new things. You have to be let's try something new and see how it works. So
absolutely, and every album. At least for me, and I'm sure for you too, is both a story and almost like a mini musical.
Yes.
The songs aren't just put up there because you're throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Right.
There's a continuity. There's a blend. There's a story told within not just each song, but the songs together.
Right.
And that is really important. Speaking of all these songs, let's hear something.
Okay.
What do you want to play first?
How about the first song on the first song on the CD? It's actually two songs mashed together. We're good at mashing things together. It's, like I said, it's a collision. It's Lucunigio, which means a rabbit, and it's also got we inserted the tarantella siciliana right into the middle of it.
Oh, beautiful. Can't wait to hear it. All right, Michela Musolino.
And Rosa Tatuata.
Lasciato già vedi voi, stanotte mi lontanai, sciato col gatto con voi. Ah, lo cotugno che sciauro fa, sta per tutto mi sento manco cavolo, cotugno che pampina. Cucuniglio c'ave lo muso c'ha vedi voi, stanotte mi lontanai, muso col gatto con voi. Ah, la cirasa che sciauro fa, sta per tutto mi sento mi basa, cavolo, cirasa che pampina. La panza c'avete voi, e stanotte mi lontanai, panza col gatto con voi. Ah, lo cotugno che c'ha un fa, sta per tutto mi senti manco cavolo, il cotugno che pampina. Coniglio c'ave la coscia c'avete voi, e stanotte mi lontanai, coscio col gatto con voi. Ah, la cirasa che c'ha un fa, sta per tutto mi senti manco cavolo, cirasa che pampina. mangungu kavoli kutungu kavampin.
So amazing. I love it. Talk about exciting.
Thank you. We thought we'd start the CD off with a bang and get everybody
did.
dancing.
You did. No, I love the instrumentation, the voicing. Your voice with it is so wonderful.
Thank you.
And it's just, I mean, how can you listen to that and be sad?
Right, exactly.
That's great.
Exactly.
How do you pick your songs?
Ooh, there's it's like there's not enough. Well, as you know, there aren't enough hours in the day to sing all the songs that we really want to. Let's put it that way. So usually there are songs that I just want to sing or I really like them. Something that they talk to me somehow. They something that we say mi prende. You know, they take you. They capture you somehow. Sometimes we have themes that we have to work around. Like we also have a repertoire of maritime music. Because we've done some shows. For example, we were just a few months ago, we were at the Fishing Heritage Museum in New Bedford, Massachusetts. So we tried to do all maritime songs. So even with that, we try to pick songs that we really like. And like I said, I work with a bunch of great musicians, and these guys never tell me no, which is really nice. I said, can we do this? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So they're very enthusiastic, which is wonderful for me. So we're kind of to the point now where we kind of hear the same things, which is really good. So we're on the same wavelength. Yeah,
and when you're with a group of musicians that you've worked with for a long time, there's a certain bond, a certain cohesiveness where there's an unspoken language where you don't have to say, okay, now at the break, do this or pause. They already know. It's just, it's cohesive.
Yeah, they're good. And then each musician, they find what they really love in the song and they take it and they run with it. Like we have our bagpiper who is playing the friscaletto in the last song. That's Charlie Rutan. He'll also play the clarinet in a lot of songs. We have our guitarist who is amazing. He adds so many different kinds of sounds, so many different kind of sounds from different genres and traditions just on his guitar. And he also plays he's our squeeze boxer. That's
nice.
Phil Pasentino. And then we have our young guy. I always tease him because he's so young. He's the youngest out of the group. He loves to play the I'm sorry. I'm beating drum rhythms out here. I'm sorry about that in the studio. Sorry about that. If you heard something crazy in your house, that was me beating out drum rhythms here at the microphone. So we have our youngest is JP, and he comes in. He's known for bringing in the Jews harp, the Maranzano.
Oh, yeah.
He's our Maranzano player, and he's awesome too. And he also plays the lira calabrese. So he brings that real pan-Mediterranean sound. He plays the saz. So when you hear that when you hear those other traditions coming in too, that's JP in there.
Now, do most of your musicians improvise, or are they reading charts, or both?
No, you know what? We take the songs, whether the song has a chart already or whether it doesn't, and then we try to create our version of it. So you'll hear in a couple other songs, there's we have a song coming up that I listened to it from a field recording. JP had handed me a collection of field recordings from Calabria. And I said, well, what do you think? Which ones do you like the best? So we started listening, and I said, well, I think we could do something with this. And I worked out a drum. I said, I think if we put a drum rhythm on this, and from that it grew into this really beautiful creation. So.
I think that's so great. It really shows it demonstrates the roots, but it also brings in the creativity, the new creativity that you're bringing in from each person. So it really shows.
Well, that's the trajectory of folk music, and we tend to forget that, especially if we're working off of field recordings. That a field recording is just like a photograph. It's an auricular photograph in the sense that a photo takes whatever was happening at that moment in time, but 1 second before and 1 second after, the photo would not have been the same. That's right. And that's a field recording. And folk music is constantly changing, or it was constantly changing and evolving with everybody who sang it. So we like to think that we're just taking this tradition and we're continuing it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's your mission, and that's really what makes it so special.
Right.
You're not just reading some arrangement that somebody else wrote the way they wrote it, and okay, here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end. I mean, there's a lot of creativity in each measure.
Right.
It's really good. It's funny you mentioned maritime music. I had to laugh because many years ago I was playing with an accordion player. I was playing mandolin, and we were working at a restaurant, a Disney restaurant called Geppetto's, an Italian restaurant.
Sweet.
So we're strolling around playing the Italian music and playing, and one day we got to work, and the manager says, "Oh, the restaurant's closed for a private party." So we figured, all right, man, we go home, we get paid. And he goes, "No, go to the park and go to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride." So when we got there, they had makeup people dressing us up like pirates, almost audio animatronic pirates, for those of you who've been on that ride. And they put us in the ride, and we were playing Yo Ho, Pirates Life for Me, or sea shanties, and it was so funny because that was my experience with maritime music, was playing in the... And it was funny because we'd play like we were robots, and then as the boat came by, we'd go, "Hi, matey," and the people would...
Are we sure they jump out of their skins? Probably.
Yeah, that was fun. That was always just a little side thing there, but that's great. Let's hear some more. What else you got here?
Since we're talking about the sea, this next song is called "Se Dio piscifino mi facisse," and it means if God would only turn me into a beautiful fish. And this is a love song, so it's actually comes from a field recording. A man is singing, and he wishes God would turn him into a beautiful fish so he could jump into the ocean. He could be caught by a fisherman, brought to the market in Palermo. Then his lover would come, and she would buy him and fry him up in a golden pan. And he wouldn't be scared if she burned him, and he wouldn't be frightened if she ate him, because it would be enough for him just to be so close to her heart. Se Dio piscifino.
Che romantica.
Se Dio piscifino mi facessi tra lungo fondo mare mi tassi venissi un pescato e mi pescassi d'amori e mi portassi venissi la me marte ammacatassi c'annava dentro d'oro e mi frisi si no, si mamancha si, dramakata si, trana bada drado, we mi free si. Navi si penano, si m'abbracciassi, ma sta contra lo corri, trasisi. Mi scantassi no, si m'ammanciassi, basta contra lo corri, trasisi. Si Dio pisci fino mi facci
Amazing. Really good.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Michela Musolino. You're listening to her and her new album. And, boy, that's enchanting.
Thank you.
It's a little hypnotic. You know, it's so funny when I listen to music, and in particular yours, I'll close my eyes and I'm listening. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm on a radio. Because I get so lost in the music.
That's our goal. We want to take you away with us. That's our goal.
Yeah. We're listening to the Johnny Mandolin Show here, and I have Michela Musolino here in her new album. We're going to be right back, and we'll have lots more music, and we're going to have lots more Michela.
You're listening to Italian American Radio. Talk radio focused on Italian Americans and all things Italian.
And we're back here, and Michela's here, and we're talking about her new album. And while we are... Our audience is listening. Why don't you direct them to your website?
Yes, you can come. Actually, what you can do is you can pre-purchase the digital version, the downloadable version of the CD. It will be released officially, physically and digitally on July 13th. But you can pre-purchase it now. If you go to my website, it's www.michelamusolino.com. MichelaMusolino.com. So you can be among the first to get it digitally. So what will happen is if you purchase the album today, as soon as it's released on the 13th, you get an email with the download code. It gets sent to the digital version, gets sent to you. The physical version will be available on the 13th, but we're going to be selling it out in Butte, Montana, at the Montana Folk Festival. Nice. So we will expect to have some kind of CD release, hopefully in early September here in New York City. That's what we're aiming for. Maybe we'll do it together with you, Johnny, for your new CD.
I would be honored. Are you kidding?
Kill two birds with one stone.
That would be great. I have a new CD called Tonight. And your new CD, and of course we always our ground zero for Italian Americans is Ernie Rossi's store.
Rossi, we're actually going to be there. Rosa Tatuata will be visiting Ernie, weather permitting, on the 30th of June. And this is a little thing we started last year, and I think you do this too. We just hang out on his stoop and we play music, and sometimes we parade through the store. We get to meet his customers. He's got amazing customers that come to him from all over the world. And Ernie himself is an amazing musician, and sometimes he serenades us.
Yeah, that's E. Rossi and Company, 193 Grand Street in New York City's Little Italy. And always worth stopping and seeing Ernie. And he's kind of the mayor of the town there, and he's also the one who welcomes and brings in musicians. And I'm sure later your CD will be for sale at Ernie.
Yes, definitely. He's been asking for that for a long time. And one of the things for those of you out there in Radioland who do not know Ernie and E. Rossi and Company, it's actually very important to the history of Italian Americans here in the U.S. because E. Rossi was the first music publisher for Italian Americans.
That's right, 1910.
Yeah, and all that sheet music of those amazing Italian immigrant compositions, that genre of music was all published at E. Rossi and Company. So for us, we feel like we're going back to our roots. We feel it's an honor to be there. It's a very historic place for us.
That's very true. And Ernie recently is also online. So E. Rossi and Company, you can go online and see his great Italian products. He's got everything for your Italian kitchen. He's got all the Italian CDs. He has the Italian good luck charms, the little corna and the maloica.
Yeah, and he sells CDs by all the Italian artists.
That's it.
All the Italian artists.
I always say,
sell their CDs.
if you go into Ernie's store and he doesn't have it, you don't need it.
Exactly. And he's a great guy. He's so sweet.
Yeah, he's
a wonderful man.
We love Ernie. What do you think your biggest obstacle is in trying to pick songs? Like you said, there's so many songs out there.
Yeah, because it has to be something that actually we had prepared, I think, more than a dozen songs for this CD. We wound up with 8, but I always feel let's over prepare. The biggest obstacle in picking the songs is really having the opportunity to do all the songs we want, and sometimes we'll be putting together a set list for a show, we'll be rehearsing a show, and we'll say, oh, remember this? We haven't done this in a long time, and why have we forgotten it? But the cool thing is, when you rotate through songs like that, is that the songs, like we talked about earlier, keep evolving. So sometimes we will do a song, put it on a shelf for a while, and then we take it up again, and we inject new life into it, and we hear things we didn't hear before, and we can create something new out of it.
I couldn't agree more, because it is... it's almost a trial and error process sometimes, where there's great songs that might not be great for you or might not fit you. So I have the same issue too. So I understand that. And speaking of songs, let's fit some more in here. We've got time. Well, what are we going to play?
We had talked about, I had mentioned that sometimes we take a field recording and we create something new. So this next song it comes from Calabria, and it's what's called a strina. And a strina is a tradition that would happen around Christmas time, around Easter time, where the musicians would wander through the streets together and make music, and they would stop at each house and make music and call out to the people that lived in the house, and they would call down blessings to the people that dwelled inside the house. They would play music, and then the people would invite them into the house and give them something to eat and give them wine, and they did this all night. It was almost like a procession. So this is a scene, it's called E Cari Signori, and it's we kind of created something new with this music.
Oh, can't wait to hear it.
muovi cumbia, nanna, e muovi cumbia, cosa bella. E chi la chitia ninja, da chi la chitia ninja, qua la regina. Vieni mo, fanno freddo casimo, vieni presto e non tardare, cadi lo freddo non si può stare. Vieni mo, fanno freddo casimo, vieni presto e non tardare, cadi lo freddo non si può stare. E mezzo sta casa c'è, mezzo sta casa c'è, la giagarella. E alla patrona vi, na regina alla Pennino. Chi sei un patrona chi, e chi sei un patrona chi, porta l'ovino. Vieni mo, fanno freddo casimo, vieni presto e non tardare, cadi lo freddo non si può stare. Vieni mo, fanno freddo casimo, vieni presto e non tardare, cadi lo freddo non si può stare. Vieni mo, fanno freddo casimo, vieni presto e non tardare, cadi lo freddo non si può stare. Vieni mo, fanno freddo casimo, vieni presto e non tardare, cadi lo freddo non si può stare.
I love it.
Thank you.
That is so much fun. I can, your enthusiasm in the music shows.
Yeah,
I mean, when
thank
you're
you.
singing, you sound excited. What's in the future? What are you thinking
What's in
after
the-
this album?
After this album, well, we want to get on, hit the road, and make sure everybody gets to hear it.
of
Because
course,
besides
yeah.
these 8 songs, we have a couple hours worth of music we'd like everybody to hear. We're very excited. As I said, we were invited out to the Montana Folk Festival in July out in Butte, Montana. So we're really honored to be part of a lineup. It's a lineup of incredible folk music and all traditional folk music and world music artists.
Mm.
And we're happy to be part of that. And that'll be for a few days out in mid-July. You can find out about it on my website, michelamusolino.com. Right after that, I do a tour of shows in Italy. So that'll be nice. Then we come back and we are going to return to West Virginia in August, end of August, for the the Clarksburg Italian Heritage Festival.
Wonderful.
And that's one of the biggest Italian festivals in the country. Wow. And the people that run that are just out of this world. It's a beautiful festival. People come back to Clarksburg. If they grew up in Clarksburg and they moved to other states in the country, they return for this festival.
Yeah, there's a bit of history there, too, because a lot of people say West Virginia Italians. I don't get it.
Well, the Calabresi came from San Giovanni in Fiore, and they were coal miners.
That's what I was just going to say.
And that's
right.
appropriate because the song we just heard was from Calabria. So there you go.
Yeah, a lot of the Italians looking for work when they came to America, not all of them stayed in New York, and there was a big demand for workers in the coal mines in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And the whole Italian neighborhood developed out of there.
My grandpa, when he first came here from Calabria, he went down to West Virginia to work in the coal mines. That was his destination. Not up here in the north. He went down to work in the coal mines.
Amazing, huh?
So.
That is so great. All right, we can fit in some more music. What do
I'd
we want
love
to
to.
hear?
The next song, actually, we're going to break things up a little bit. Go to Naples for this one, and just it's a version of a tamoriata, but it's actually a lullaby, and this is the Ninna Nanna di Sant'Anna. It's the lullaby of Saint Anne. So when she's rocking Mary to sleep, she sings her beautiful songs, and says, you're going to grow up to be the mother of our Savior.
Wonderful. To Napoli. Wow. I love it. The little
Thank you.
friscolette.
Yeah, that's Charlie Rutan. He's also, if you heard him in the beginning, he was playing the zampogna. He's our bagpiper.
Yeah.
He's pretty awesome. He was actually invited to a bagpipe festival in Italy last year, in Cilento,
Oh,
in
nice.
southern Italy, yeah.
That is great. Yeah, it's just great music. Brings you feel like you're in the middle of a piazza in Italy or in Sicily. Or,
That's what we're going for.
Yeah, that's what you succeed.
That's what we're trying to
That's
do.
great.
Well, I'm happy. That's good.
That's really good. So once again, I want to thank Michela Musolino for being on my show. She always makes it great, and you're always invited back.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I love it, and your music is inspirational, and I'm so glad that my audience gets the privilege of being able to hear your music. This is not, your run of the mill. She's not just doing like when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. This is
Although that's
really
a sweet
good
song
stuff.
too.
It is, but this is really inspirational and it brings me back to the roots, and it's really fun.
Can I tell you a little story real
Yes,
quick? Okay.
yes.
True story. Last year we were given as a birthday gift for a woman. She was turning 90 years old. And it was a friend that knew her since she was a little girl and said she was like a second mother to me. I wanted to make this beautiful. And I kept saying to them, and I said, where was she born? And she was born somewhere in the Piedmont. And I said, are you sure you want us? Because we're Southern Italian. Are you sure you want us? Are you sure? No, you have to. I said, I don't think you want our band. She said, no, you have to. So I said, all right. So we came up with, we tried to learn all these new songs and tried to come up with folk songs from her region and other songs from Northern Italy, et cetera, Central Italy, Northern Italy. So she walks into the birthday. It was a surprise. And they introduced us to her, and she was so excited. And we started playing all these songs for her. We said, and this is from right next to your town. And this is from your province. And she said, she goes, could you play my favorite song? And we said, well, we'll try. What is it? And she said, my favorite song, C'è la Luna. Do you know C'è la Luna? I said, oh, sure. We got that.
Yeah. We've done that once or twice.
We got that.
That's funny. That's great. Those are the stories that you just got to love, you know? Michela, your website.
MichelaMusolino.com. MichelaMusolino.com, MichelaMusolino.com. You can go to my website, and if you see the headings on the page, you go to where it says shows. You know where we're going to be playing next. We're going to be next up is at Ernie Rossi's here in Little Italy in New York City, and that'll be June 30th. Then we'll be in Philadelphia at Le Vertu, a fabulous Italian restaurant, actually Abruzzese restaurant in Philadelphia. And then we hit... we'll be going to Butte, Montana, the Montana Folk Festival.
That is so great.
And you can also pre-purchase the downloadable version of the CD that you heard tonight. And then the day it's released on July 13th, you will receive the digital version via email.
And, of course, you're on Facebook, too?
Yes, sir. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You can also find me either as Michela Musolino on both, or you can look for the band Rosa Tatuata, Rosatatuata, if I spelled it correctly, I hope. But those, you can always find dates about us and videos and what's coming up next. Oh, we also have, I forgot, June 23rd, for those of you in northern New Jersey and the metropolitan area, we're doing our Sotto le Stelle, our annual Outside Under the Stars concert. It's a Sunday night. If you're going to come, RSVP via email or Facebook and let us know how many people you're bringing, because you probably need to carpool because there's not a lot of parking and space is limited. But we'll help you set up a car. We'll help arrange carpools too. We put people together in carpools. It's a wonderful outdoor show. So that's coming up first on June 23rd. Sotto le Stelle. That's also on the website.
Wonderful. That's great. Yeah, definitely check her out. And you have some great pictures on the Facebook, on the internet, too, of you performing. And so definitely have a look and have a listen. So
thank you.
Once again, thank you for listening to the Johnny Mandolin Show.
Thank you for having me, Johnny.
Oh, I love it. Well, I told you got to come back.
I will, anytime.
All right. Well, I want to thank Jade, our engineer, for keeping us on the air and honest.
Yeah,
and
she's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to close with a song by Michela. What's the song?
This is a Chaialomma, which is a fishing song of the tuna fishermen from Favignana, and it's called Olina Lina.
All right. Thank you, folks. Thanks for listening.
faccia che tieni, oh signorina, che bella faccia che tieni, oh signorina. Così, chianta l'anticchia, poi si riposa, poi si li mette le mani così e la chianta così. Scippa la fava, lo bello vilano, quando la scippa così, scippa l'anticchia, poi si riposa, poi si rimette le mani così, e la scippa così, e la chianta così. Spicchi la fava, lo bello vilano, quando la spicchi così, spicchi l'anticchia, poi si riposa, poi si li mette le mani così, e la spicchia così, e la scippa così, e la chianta così. Coccia la fava, lo bello vilano, quando la coccia così, coccia l'anticchia, poi si riposa, poi si li mette le mani così, e la coccia così, e la spicchia così, e la scippa così, e la chianta così. Mangia la fava, lo bello vilano, quando la mangia così, mangia l'anticchia, poi si riposa, poi se li mette le mani così, e la mangia così, e la coccia così, e la spicchia così, e la scippa così, e la chianta così. Cacca la fava, lo bello vilano, quando la cacca così, cacca l'anticchia, poi si riposa, poi si li mette le mani così, e la cacca così, e la mangia così, e la coccia così.